The WCA has just announced that clock is being removed from the list of official events of the WCA, and FTO is being added to the list of uh, official events for the WCA in its place. Here are my thoughts on the whole situation. I'm sure that you've already heard of the situation if you're watching this video, but here are my what I think about the whole thing. I've been going really back and forth on my opinion this past day of just researching, seeing what's going on, listening to other people's opinions, and I think I've kind of finally landed on what I think. What I think. So first of all, I am really sad and really disappointed that this is the outcome that clock is being removed, right? I really enjoy solving clock, and I have a lot of people who I've taught who also really enjoy solving clock, and so I'm very sad that clock is being removed, right? Because we really did enjoy this event. We really had fun competing in this event officially, and it's just I feel bad for me, for my friends, and then for also countless other people who really enjoyed this event, and for even beginners who are getting into cubing for losing an event that's very beginner friendly, such as clock. Um, at first, this decision didn't really make any sense to me because why can't we just have 18 events? It's not that big of a difference between 17 events. The logistics can still work out. We can make it work, right? The WCA is mostly run on its competitors, right? When you go to competition, you're the one who judges, you're the one who scrambles, you're the one who runs. And the delegates and the volunteers are all people from the community, and so we can make the effort to be able to run an 18 event organization, right? It doesn't have to be just the WCA board. We can all work on it together. So that's why it didn't make any sense to me, right? Why are you taking clock away? We can definitely do this. It's yes, it's problematic, but why not make more regulations to fix it? Um, but I also understand where the WCA is coming from. I understand that clock is problematic. It is very different from the other WCA events, and they're just they had to make a decision, right? And when they put out that survey in May to ask us whether we wanted to keep um, what we wanted to do, right? What we wanted to keep, what we wanted to get rid of, what we wanted to add to the WCA, they were telling us, they were warning us that we might have an event taken away, and that's exactly what happened. But this backlash from the WCA taking away clock, it would have happened if any other event was taken away. And so I don't think that all these people being upset, and even myself included, was very upset this morning, um, was going to be any different than any other event that was taken away. Um, so I think that this decision is ultimately a good decision from the WCA. Now, as a clock solver and as someone who really enjoys clock, I'm saying this honestly that I respect the WCA for making the hard decision of taking it away. Um, I personally believe that they didn't have to, but if they felt like they had to, I think that they made the hard choice and they had to take something away. And I'm glad that it's clock and not five blind because I love five blind, or 7x7, right? And so, despite this hurting me, I do believe that it's something that a decision that had to be made, and um, and I respect WCA for making the decision, making the hard decision that I wouldn't have been able to make. Um, but however, on the topic of FTO, I am very happy that FTO is being added. I have no idea how to solve an FTO. I don't even own an FTO, but seeing the huge community growing around FTO has really wanted me to get into it, but I never did because it was never an event, right? I have this goal of getting a complete profile on the WCA, and I just recently completed half of it, per se, right? My last competition, I finally got a five blind single, and so that now I have a result in every single event, and so now that they're adding another one, it continues my goal. It just expands my goal. Now I just need to get some means, some averages, and now I have to do FTO. And so I'm very excited for something new, right? The WCA has been very much the same since really 2014 when Skew was added, but also 2019 when Feet was removed. And the WCA has been kind of the same since. And so I'm very glad that they're making these changes, especially that they're adding a new event, something that's different. It's not a mod, right? FTO is very different from what could have been added, like Team Blind or 4x4 one-handed or mirror blocks. They're just mods or different forms of solving cubes that we already have. And so I'm very glad that they chose FTO out of all the ones that they could have added. I think this is the best decision that they made to add FTO, and I'm very excited to be able to learn FTO. Um, I actually just ordered one, so I'm going to learn how to solve it and hopefully be able to compete in January um, to solve FTO for the first time officially. And so I think it's just it's great. I'm very excited for FTO being added, and I think that's a really good decision that they made, and I'm very glad that they made that decision. Now, I'm sad that clock had to go for FTO to come, but I think we should focus more on the good side of things than the bad side of things. I think we should focus on the excitement and the happiness and the newness that FTO is going to bring, and just make the best out of what we have of clock now. Clock is not being removed until next year, until July of 2027. And so we, as clock solvers, have an entire year to make the best out of still having clock as an official event. So I, as a clock solver, challenge you, clock solvers, to make the best out of this year, to hold competitions for clock, to make clock the main event for a competition, to compete as much as possible, to do the best that you can, get the best results that you can in this next year, um, and then learn FTO too. And just, I encourage you to continue to love clock, because we can still compete in it as an unofficial event. We can continue to thrive and continue to compete in this amazing puzzle which is clock, despite it no longer being an official event. And so I encourage you guys to just make the best out of this year, to continue solving clock, to continue competing in clock, as much as you can. Let's organize more competitions for clock. Let's organize more things so that clock can get out there. And yeah, ultimately, it saddens me that clock's being removed, but ultimately, I'm happy with this decision. I'm happy that FTO is being added, and I think as long as we take advantage of this next year that we still have clock, I think it's going to be a good time. So yeah, anyways, thank you for listening to my opinion on this topic, and I will see you guys later.